Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. Today I'm going to recap the home run derby from last night and look ahead to the All-Star game. We'll go over the soccer results from yesterday, look ahead to the soccer games today, NBA Summer League, WNBA, Wimbledon. I'll make a future for the portfolio, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start the home run derby from last night. It was a lot of fun. Your winner, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who was the second choice on the board at plus 350. It was a lot of fun. And it was a fun derby all around. So we'll just go around the bracket. We'll start at the top left of the bracket. So fun battle between Luis Robert Jr. and Adley Rutschman as Luis Robert Jr. wins 28-27 and walks it off at the end, which was pretty cool. You have at the bottom left of the bracket, Randy Arozarena, your 5 seed, knocks off your 4 seed Adolis Garcia, 24-17. So Randy Arozarena had a good run in this for sure. Top right of the bracket, this was probably the wildest thing. Vlad Guerrero Jr., we'll get to in a second. Julio Rodriguez, 41 home runs compared to Pete Alonso's 21. Whoo! Like, J-Rod was on fire. And in the bottom half of the right side of the bracket, Vlad Guerrero Jr. defeats Mookie Betts, 26-11. Mookie Betts, I just didn't feel was well-suited for the home run derby. I don't know why. I love Mookie Betts. He's a fun guy to watch, but I just didn't think he was built for this, especially in a big ballpark like Seattle. All right, the semifinals, left side of the bracket. Randy Arozarena defeats Luis Robert Jr. 35-22 as Randy Arozarena advances to the final. And on the other side of the bracket, your 6 seed Vlad Guerrero Jr. defeats the 7 seed Julio Rodriguez 21-20. So that was a fun battle between those two guys. And then the winner, Vlad Guerrero Jr., knocks off Randy Arozarena. So 6-5 in the finals, 25-23. Arozarena tried to come back in the 32nd bonus time, but he fell 2 dingers short of tying Vlad Jr. So Vlad Jr. wins the home run derby, joining his Hall of Fame father as the only father-son duo to win that title. So that was pretty cool. And the home run derby is a lot of fun every year. Chris Berman is always mixed with the back. But he doesn't do it anymore. I believe Carl Ravitch and company from Sunday Night Baseball do it now. All right, the All-Star game is tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. Joe Davis, John Smoltz, Ken Rosenthal, and I believe Tom Rinaldi on the call. So it's pretty much the same group that does the World Series that's doing the All-Star game. I'm looking forward to the All-Star game tomorrow night. It should be fun. It's a pick-em, -108 each way. I like it. Over under 7.5. Over is even money. Under is -122. National League's favorite on the run line, -1.5 at +155. AL's +1.5 is -192. I love the National League at -108. No Judge and Ohtani for the American League. Those are 2 really big losses. And I think that will help Gallen and the National League staff. I think the NL lineup can get to the AL pitchers. No McClanahan. You only see Garrett Cole for, an inning? 2 innings? And I could see them getting to the AL pitchers, maybe even Cole, for So I'm going to go with the National League at even money, -108 for my pick for the All-Star game. Now we will go over notable soccer results from yesterday, and we will look ahead to everything going on today. Liga MX, Leon over Pachuca 4-0. So best bet comes through. Club friendly, Galatasaray over Kisvarda 2-0 and Al Nassr over Alverca 2-0. All right, 2 games today, 1:15, Liefering and Union Gert 10. And at 2:30, you have Barnet and Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace should win that one. And should win that one easily, in my opinion. Women's friendly from yesterday, New Zealand over Vietnam, 2-0. And more scores from yesterday. UEFA Euro Under-19s, 0-0 draw between Greece and Iceland, and Spain and Norway also a 0-0 draw. So talk about coincidences. UEFA Champions League qualifying today, you have Benance and Skrinci Mostar. You have at 11:30 Lincoln, Red Imps and FK Karabag. 12 o'clock you have Zalgiris, Vilnius, and Struga. 2 o'clock you have Hamrin Spartans and Maccabi Haifa. 2 o'clock you have Olimpia Ljubljana and Valmeria. Rakow, Justawa, and Flora. 2:45 Balkani and Ludogorets Razgrad. 2:45 KL Klasvik and Ferencvaros. Partizani Tirana and Bate Borisov and Shamrock Rovers and Breda Bullock. And then USL League One. We have tonight as well. 7:30 of 1 Knoxville and Northern Colorado Hailstorm. I do not know if FanDuel has that one up. I'm going to check. That's 7:30 tonight. No. But the qualifiers are up for UEFA. But I don't have more information in front of me to pick the game, so I'm not going to pick those games. Okay, now I'll move on to the Summer League. We will go over yesterday's games and look ahead to today's games. Cavs over the Grizzlies 100-77. Suns over the Heat 73-70. Mavs over the Sixers 111-103. Pacers over the Magic 108-85. Jazz over the T-Wolves 108-96. And the Clippers over the Kings 80-70. All right, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, ESPN Noon, Nets Bucks. That will be at Cox. I'm just going to pull up the odds. Bucks are giving 2.5, totals 181.5. I think that is a high total. I'll take the under. My favorite game on the board, 6:30 NBA TV from Thomas and Mack, Rockets, Thunder. The Thunder are giving 5.5 totals, 185.5. I'm taking Houston getting the 5.5. That's a lot of points. The Thunder have been fun, the Summer League, but I like the Rockets to cover in this one. 8 o'clock ESPN2, you have the Suns and the Pelicans. The Pelicans are giving 3.5 totals, 188.5. I'm going to lay the points with the Pelicans. 8:30 NBA TV, you have the Blazers and the Hornets. The Blazers are giving 5.5 totals, 181.5. I'm going to take Charlotte getting the points, although it's juiced. 10 o'clock ESPN2, Bulls Kings. That is from Cox. Kings are giving 1.5 totals, 176.5. This is a hard one, but I'm going to take the over. And at 10:30 on NBA TV, you have the Wizards and the Spurs. The Spurs are giving 3.5 totals, 180.5. No Wembanyama, but I like how the Spurs have been playing in Summer League, so I'm going to lay the points for San Antonio in the Thomas and Mack closing game for tonight. Now we are going to go over the WNBA slate for tonight. It's only 2 games, 7 o'clock. You have the Storm at the Mystics. The Mystics in this game are favored by 6.5. Total is 158.5. The Storm have been terrible this season. The Mystics are home. I'm going to lay the points. And then 10 o'clock on CBS Sports Hour, Commissioner's Cup game between the Mercury and the Aces. Boy, the Mercury have been a vastly disappointing team this year. The Griner situation, everything, just a lot of turmoil there. Aces are given 18.5 totals, 169.5. I'm taking the over. I would love to parlay the Aces in the over, but I like the over a little more because I think they juice up the Vegas line a lot. And there's a possibility don't cover by a point or two. So I'm going to go over 169.5 between the Mercury and the Aces for that one. All right, now Wimbledon. Round of 16 results for the men's and the women's. And then we'll go over quarterfinals for today. All right. 1 seed Carlos Alcaraz over Matteo Berrettini in 4 sets. Chris Eubanks upsets 5 seed Stefanos Tsitsipas in 5 sets. 6 seed Holger Rune defeats 21 seed Grigor Dimitrov in 4 sets. And 3 seed Daniil Medvedev over Jiri Lecheka in a walkover. All right. Quarterfinals. 9:15 this morning. 8 seed Jannik Sinner and Roman Safulin. So we have Sinner is a big favorite, minus 630. Safulin's on a nice run, plus 450. I like Sinner a lot. I think that he is set to go on a little bit of a run here with Tsitsipas out, and I think he has a chance to knock off Alcaraz or even Djokovic in the right scenario. So we go Sinner 3-0 plus 115. And at 9:45, you have 17 Andrei Rublev and 2 seed Novak Djokovic. So Sinner would be on the same side of the bracket as Alcaraz, which would make more sense. Djokovic is a 17-1 favorite. Andrei Rublev is plus 890. Rublev's had a great run, but he's no Novak Djokovic at all. Djokovic 3 is minus 140. I think the play here is to do total match games 32.5. I'm going to go over 32.5 at minus 118. All right, the women's results from today. 6 seed Ons Jabeur over 9 seed Petra Kvitova in 2 sets. 2 seed Arena Sablenka over 21 seed Katerina Alexandrova in 2 sets. 3 seed Elena Rybakina over 13 seed Beatriz Haddad Maia in a walkover in 1 set. That's sad that had to end like that for Haddad Maia. I thought Haddad Maia had a shot to make a bit of a run. And 25 seed Madison Keys over Mira Andreeva in 3 sets. Quarterfinals this morning, 8 o'clock a.m. 4 seed Jessica Pegula and Marketa Vondrasova. Pegula's favored, -130. Vondrasova's +108. That's crazy that Pegula's that small of a favorite. Vegas must know something. So I'm going to go Pegula 2-1 +280. I love Jessica Pegula. She's fantastic. Vondrasova is one of the great non-ranked tennis players right now, and she's on a nice run, but I think it'll come to an end. And then 8:30 this morning, 1 seed Iga Swiatek and Alina Svitolina. I think Svitolina is great, but Iga Swiatek's the queen right now of women's tennis. She's -800 favorite. Svitolina is +540. I am going to go with a similar thought as Djokovic's match to avoid set betting. Instead, I'm going to go game spread. Although in Djokovic's, I went total match game. I'm going to go set betting here. And I'm sorry, game spread here. I'm going to go Swiatek -5.5 at -118 in the game spread. So that's a little bit of a different play for that one. Now I'm going to place a future in the futures portfolio. The summer of the portfolio segment, I would like to place futures in football in either college or the NFL because this is the downtime. But it's also the Major League Baseball All-Star break. So that's another time to place fun futures. So, I'm going to do it baseball for the All-Star break. I am going to go with a team that's currently tied for first place in its division, and the team that they're tied with is overhyped because they're a big market team. They have a ton of injuries and a ton of problems in their rotation. So, and the team that I'm referring to is the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks are the team I'm going to place the future on to win the National League West. So I'm going to do +460, a half a unit on the Arizona Diamondbacks to win the National League West at +460. That's a lot of value for a team that is currently tied for first place in its own division with a team that has a ton of injuries. Now I'm going to go over the news and notes for today. There is a lot of stuff, but the biggest thing that happened was that Alex DeBrincat has been traded to the Detroit Red Wings in a sign and trade, as he'll be getting paid 4 years, making over $7.8 million a year. 2024 conditional first-round pick, fourth-round pick, Dominic Kubalak and Donovan Sabrango. I actually like this trade for both sides. Much needed, big-time offensive force, top 3 wing guy for the Red Wings. It's something they've lacked for a long time. And now I think this trade puts them in the conversation to be a sleeper to make the postseason in the East next year. And they could replace somebody like the Islanders or something like that, or maybe the Rangers if they fall apart, or Boston. I don't think it's guaranteed that Pittsburgh or Washington's going to be bouncing back from disappointing years. So Detroit absolutely has a chance. I think the Rangers are closer to Pittsburgh and Washington than to the Devils and Carolina at this point. So I think the Rangers are a team sort of in decline. I think the playoff locks in the East are New Jersey, Carolina, and honestly, that's it. I think the Atlantic Division got worse. Boston, I think, had the dream year, and they're going to potentially... And honestly, they're closer to Pittsburgh and Washington than New Jersey and Carolina. They're like with the Rangers to me. Like, I get it, they had the dream regular season, but they were a big flop in the postseason, and we saw what happened. I mean, I really shouldn't say nobody. Florida, I feel like, is almost a lock to make it. I'd say Florida, New Jersey, and Carolina are the best three teams in the East right now. So I do think there's 5 spots in the postseason that are wide open. This is all barring injury, by the way. In Florida, it's because they made the final and Kachuk made the big leap. But the Red Wings can't be ruled out for a playoff spot next season. Absolutely. They're a team on the come. Buffalo's on the come. Ottawa obviously got worse with this trade. Montreal's going to be bad. Columbus is going to be bad. Philly's going to be bad. I think the East is deep, but I don't think it's great either, in a weird way. I think that there's 3 teams that feel like locks for the postseason in the East right now: New Jersey, Florida, and Carolina. And there's 3 teams that I'd be shocked if they made the postseason: Montreal, Ottawa, sort of, and or not Ottawa, excuse me, Columbus and Philly. I mean, I'm willing to throw in Ottawa in that group, but there's a world where Ottawa surprises in a weak Atlantic Division. But yeah, I meant to say Columbus. I don't know why I had Ottawa on my mind. So it was Philly, Columbus, and Montreal, the 3 worst teams in the East in my mind. And then Ottawa probably 4, but even they are like a somewhat of a sleeper. But I do like Detroit and Buffalo more than them. I like some of the other... I like the Islanders more than them. So we'll see in the East. Great trade for the Red Wings, and I wanted to talk in depth about it a lot on the show. So we're just going to go random. That was the only big hockey story, but there's a lot of basketball. The Pistons extend Isaiah Stewart for $64 million. So Detroit paying for future projection rather than past performance. Colby Altman says that the Cavs want to keep its core together, which is a good thing. They added Max Strus to that group, and I really like what they did this summer. I think the Cavaliers are a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference. David Griffin, the former Cavaliers GM, now the Pelicans GM, says that him and Zion are on good terms. He said it's as good as it's ever been, and mid-trade rumors. Ooh, is that ever a good sign? I don't know. New Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy talks about the CP3 Jordan Poole trade. He says that he loves Chris Paul's ability to win, and talks about his backcourt logjam and payroll as reasons for Poole's exit. This isn't great for Portland. Dame and the Blazers general manager have not spoke since he requested the trade on July 1st. Yikes. Could you imagine if Cronin trades Dame to whoever has the best offer and it's not Miami? But the best of both worlds is that have a third team take Tyler Herro and have picks involved and maybe an unexpected player they can get. But, like, the dream trade is obviously Minnesota for Townsend picks. And maybe you can build around Townsend, Scoot Henderson. And all of a sudden, you're not terrible. I mean, I like Minnesota's team better with Dame than Portland with Townsend, Scoot. That's only because of how I feel about Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards is on his way to being a superstar. So that's the only reason why I feel like that. So we'll see. But Shams said that the Blazers can get several first-round picks in a 3-team deal with the Heat. That's what I just mentioned. Chris Paul says he has not spoken to Steve Kerr about what his role would look like. The Lakers are eyeing another big. Christian Wood and Bismack Biyombo in consideration for one of the Lakers' final roster spots. That'd be a decent addition if they added one of those guys. Christian Wood preferably, because Bismack Biyombo just isn't good. So the Sixers matched Paul Reed's 3-year, $23 million offer. So they matched it after we finished recording the segment yesterday. Of course, that happened. But I obviously mean that because things always happen like this when I finish recording news and notes. But good on Philly for matching the offer instead of losing the asset for nothing. The Blazers and the Celtics saw John Wall's private workout. Rachel Nichols reports that Joel Embiid hopes that James Harden's mindset can be changed so they can win a championship. So, I don't know if Joel spoke to Rachel Nichols, but that's according to Rachel Nichols. But I believe that. So the Phoenix Mercury are hiring a Warriors executive. Nick Uren will serve as general manager for the Mercury. So Nick Uren going from the NBA to the WNBA. You don't see that very often. And inevitable news and the right thing to do out of San Antonio. They are shutting down Victor Wembanyama for the rest of the Summer League after appearing in 2 games. This was rumored. And now it feels like that the Spurs and Wemby decided to shut it down. And then I think we'll see Wemby in FIFA playing for France potentially. If not, then the next time we'll see him playing for the Spurs is probably going to be in a couple of the preseason games. This is something I brought up yesterday, and I think it's a very fascinating story, and it's Bob Huggins saying that he never resigned and alleges the university published a false, unsigned statement. I hate to say it. On yesterday's show, I said that Huggins was reminding me of a certain somebody. This kind of reminds me of Donald Trump with the false election stuff. It's just like, this is what that reminds me of. Like a never-ending thing that's just going to keep going on and on and on until there is a resolution. And I can't believe I'm saying that because I did not expect Bob Huggins. I really believed that letter that he resigned because of his off-court issues that he had to deal with. So, very, very strange story. This isn't going away. So, I'm fascinated to see how this plays out for sure, and we'll obviously keep you posted on the podcast. Sticking with college sports, Northwestern fires head coach Pat Fitzgerald amid investigation into alleged hazing. This is not surprising to some, surprising to others because of how long Fitzgerald's been there. This is similar to Bob Huggins in a way, except two completely different situations. And then obviously Huggins, 2 terrible things happened to Huggins. Northwestern isn't letting more than one get away with Pat Fitzgerald. So he gets canned for the hazing. And this is a big deal, obviously. And now Northwestern football is a complete mess because of this. Complete mess. Everyone and their mother's going to be betting on the under when the win totals come out. So yeah, hazing, sexual assault, and suicidal stuff. So like that is just very sad. And now the question is who will replace Fitzgerald. I say they're going to do what West Virginia basketball is doing with the Bob Huggins situation and just promote an assistant. They'll probably promote offensive coordinator Mike Bajikane, who has been with the program since 2020. He was the OC at Boston College in 2019, as well as the quarterback's coach, and then he came to Northwestern. He was the quarterback's coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was at Tennessee, he was at Cincinnati, Central Michigan. So he's been with a bunch of different schools. So my guess is they'll promote the New Jersey native to the interim head coach, and then they'll look outside the school after the season, assuming that they don't go on this amazing run a la Texas post Chris Beard, and then they ended up hiring Rodney Terry, which was the right thing to do. And I applauded Texas for that. So crazy that we're seeing this in college sports a lot of different situations with these big time, big name, good reputation coaches. Like we mentioned Chris Beard with his situation, then Bob Huggins in basketball too, and now Pat Fitzgerald. I feel like this is happening way more than it should, and it's just very sad. And like I said, I think Mike Bajikane is going to be the interim guy, or Jim O'Neill, the DC, but we'll see. And then they'll look in the in December, January of 23-24 for its new permanent head coach. So very, very crazy. There's a new Heisman Trophy logo, as it was revealed as a modernized look ahead to the season. So very interesting for sure. All right, NFL. Bears wide receiver Darnell Mooney says he's ready to roll, as he says he's on track for training camp after season-ending ankle injury. So there's some drama going on between the Chiefs and the Bengals already. Joe Burrow on Chiefs trash talk. He says a simple message, which is bulletin board material. You got to see it. There was a sneak peek of Netflix's new docu-series called Quarterback. It is very interesting. So that is something that we're probably going to end up talking about on the podcast from from a TV standpoint on the show. And a couple more college notes. Florida quarterback Jalen Kitna will transfer from Florida after accepting a plea deal that dismissed 5 child pornography charges. Yikes. Now that's another school that had some drama right now. And here is a very wild story. Former gymnastics coach Larry Nassar stabbed in prison as a doctor stabbed him multiple times in a Florida jail while serving sexual abuse sentence. Wow. That is something that I was not expecting. But Larry Nassar's a jerk. We all know what he did to those girls. And he deserves to be in prison. For sure. But I want to know who stabbed him. Like, who would go into a prison and stab somebody? All right, the All-Star Game starting pitchers have been announced. Garrett Cole in the American League and Zach Gallen in the National League. Zach Gallen absolutely deserves in the National League for the year the Diamondbacks are having, the year that he's having, putting that pitching staff on his back and being in the Cy Young conversation in the National League. Meanwhile, Garrett Cole had a really good April. He kind of had he didn't have a good May. He had a decent June, but it wasn't a great June. I do not think Garrett Cole deserved to be the All-Star Game starter in the American League. It's not really because of him. It's because of the team he's on and the team getting favoritism in a year which the team has underperformed. Well, not his fault that 99 stabbed his toe in Dodger Stadium, which caused him to miss almost 2 months now. And or potentially more than 2 months. And Cole's been their best pitcher this year. I understand that. But I understand that a lot of guys that should have started aren't pitching in the All-Star Game. I mean, Ohtani isn't pitching, obviously, and you could argue, would have been a better choice than Garrett Cole at this point. Not that he's having a better pitching season than Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole probably is having a better pitching season than Ohtani, but it's Shohei freaking Ohtani, for crying out loud. But then again, it would have been the same favoritism that Garrett Cole's getting in a way, except Ohtani's on a worse team. I mean, right now slightly worse because of no Judge, but there were probably some other guys, like Nathan Eovaldi probably deserved to start in the American League. To me, you have to be an above-average pitcher having a great year on a team that is contending and winning at a great pace, like Texas. And like I said, Zach Gallen deserved it in the in the National League. I do not think Garrett Cole deserved it in the American League. That's just favoritism from Major League Baseball picking a Yankee to be in the starter of the All-Star Game. And like I said, Ohtani would have been favoritism too because it's Ohtani, but at least Shohei Ohtani is putting the Angels on his back. And I don't even know if they're in a playoff spot right now. I know the Yankees aren't, and that's why I don't think Garrett Cole should start. Like I said, not his fault, but like that's just how I feel. But no, the Angels are 5 back of the wild card. So they're under 500. Okay, so maybe Garrett Cole should have started instead of Shohei Ohtani. At least the Yankees are only 1 back. And the teams are ahead of them are in their own division, so they could pass Toronto. I mean, if Judge comes back in August, they could pass Toronto. And I don't think they'll pass Houston, although Altuve's hurt again, which is a big loss. So that and Judge cancel each other out in theory. So maybe I'm not going to say they'll jump Houston, but maybe if Judge is back sooner than Altuve and Altuve has setbacks, I could see them passing Houston. So, yeah. It's going to be an interesting summer in Major League Baseball. And the Yankees already replaced Dylan Lawson as they hired a new hitting coach. Sean Casey, former MLB first baseman, former teammate of Aaron Boone, and broadcaster for MLB Network. So, Sean Casey. That's an interesting hire. We'll see how he does. Kind of different. they went outside the organization. They went with a guy that Aaron Boone knows very well. But I'm not convinced that he's magically going to get the veteran bats going that have hurt the team over the past several months. Peter Alonso's recruiting Shohei Ohtani. That's not surprising. How about this? Ronald Acuna leads Major League Baseball in jersey sales, beating out Shohei Ohtani and Fernando Tatis Jr. for top-selling jersey at the All-Star break. Surprised Aaron Judge isn't in the top 3. After the year he had last year, and then if he didn't get hurt this year, he probably would have been right there with Ohtani for MVP. Probably second place to Ohtani. But actually, no, he probably would be the favorite because the Angels are 5 back. I didn't realize that the Angels are in that bad of a slump, but they don't have Trout, and that is why they've fallen off for sure. So, yeah, so I'm surprised that Acuna is first and not Ohtani. I thought it'd be Ohtani, Judge, and Mookie Betts as their top 3 jersey guys, or Bryce Harper. I thought that would be your top 3, but no, it's Acuna, Ohtani, Tatis. And I don't know why Tatis is there. A's fans protest at the draft, sell the team chants. Well, Rob Manfred read the team's draft pick. That is not surprising. And A-Rod with a hot take saying that the Angels should trade Shohei Ohtani as he makes a bold prediction that the Angels will win in 5 years. Will win the World Series in 5 years if they trade both Ohtani and Mike Trout. That would be something. I do not think they would win it in 5 years unless they got some elite prospects back. They would have to trade Ohtani to the Yankees and get Volpe back. Or trade Ohtani to the Mets and get Beatty. Or you have to trade... I know Yankees would have to be the Ohtani team if that was the case. Have to. I have to come up with a list of prospects that if the Angels were to trade Ohtani, and now this is going to get a lot more buzz because the Angels are 5 back. I didn't realize how far back the Angels were in the wild card hunt. I'm surprised. I didn't even realize how far they've fallen back. So we'll do this on the podcast probably tomorrow. But that's a really very interesting stuff going on for sure. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. This is a tough one. Just from looking on the board for the WNBA and the Summer League, nothing really jumps out to me that much. But one I actually do like, and the number I feel is short, is the Pelicans minus 3.5 against the Suns in the Summer League. I want to take the National League in the All-Star game, but the All-Star game's too unpredictable, and the National League has lost a bunch in a row. So I'm going to go with the Pelicans in the Summer League minus 3.5 against the Suns. And they have a better Summer League roster than the Suns. So I'm going to lay a half unit on it. Minus 3.5 against the Suns for best bet. That's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking ahead to tomorrow. So hope you guys have a great day, everyone.